Esophageal manometry, an educational module. The objectives for these modules are to identify parameters in measuring esophageal pressure, to describe the steps involved in measuring esophageal pressure, to demonstrate measuring ventilator parameters involved in the manometry, and to analyze the measured parameters to adjust PEEP, and lastly, to describe the importance of esophageal monitoring. For this educational module, a servo U ventilator is used where the Y sensor module is properly placed, as well as the transpulmonary pressure software is installed. Next, an appropriate esophageal balloon catheter should be used based on the manufacturer's recommendations. Once the esophageal balloon catheter is placed, X-ray is necessary. The radiological marker should be confirmed at the lower one-third of the patient's esophagus. Next, all connections should be tightened to prevent any leak. After confirming the position of the esophageal balloon catheter, it is time to fill the balloon with air. First, you have to open the three-way valve towards the syringe and fill the syringe with 4 milliliters of air. Push the air in and then retract it to about 1.5, which leaves about 2.5 milliliters of air into the balloon, which expands it. After which, the valve needs to be capped. To validate the balloon position and filling, change the ventilator views to where esophageal pressure and pleural pressure monitoring is shown. And in this way, the esophageal pressure scalar waveforms are going to be shown. Here is a better view of the esophageal pressure scalar waveforms. As you can see, there are cardiac oscillations. These oscillations are captured because the heart is very close to the esophagus. And this is the first hint that the balloon position and filling are in the correct way. The ventilator has a tool that validates the balloon position and filling. Under maneuvers, you have to do a hold maneuver. And this is the esophageal catheter positioning tool. After pressing start, there is an expiratory occlusion that's going to happen. And you have about 10 seconds to perform a thoracic compression on the patient. You have to place both hands on the side of the thorax and press once, then release. Then press again, then release. The ventilator calculates a ratio between the rise and the compression of airway pressure. After the maneuver has been performed, the servo U will calculate the ratio between the rise and compression of airway pressure. This reflects the difference or the ratio between the changes in esophageal pressure and airway pressure. The pressure ratio should be between 0.8 to 1.2. And for this maneuver, a calculated ratio is 1.09, which is acceptable. And this validates the correct position and filling of the esophageal balloon catheter. This is important in calculating the transpulmonary measurement, since servo U automatically calculates it. Quick check, true or false. A 1.1 ratio between the changes in esophageal pressure and changes in airway pressure is a good indicator of proper esophageal balloon filling and positioning. True, since the acceptable ratio is between 0.8 and 1.2. These are the values where one can confirm esophageal pressure measurements. It is very important to check and confirm the catheter's position and filling before any measurements are done. Let us now look at the pressure configuration and layout. The first one is airway pressure. The next one is esophageal pressure. This is the transpulmonary scalar waveform. The ventilator automatically calculates this value. This is the flow scalar waveform. This is the tidal volume scalar waveform. Looking at the ventilator monitor, on the top right-hand side, it shows PLEI. This is the transpulmonary pressure and inspiration, which reflects the lung tissue stretch. Below it is the changes in esophageal pressure. This is the pressure every breath. This is very important and relevant when the patient is spontaneously breathing. The next information is pleural drive, and it reflects the energy that is transmitted to the lungs every breath. The next factor is end expiratory pleural pressure, and this is used to set PEEP. All of these measurements are in dynamic mode. Static measurements are important and necessary to get reliable information on transpulmonary pressures. In doing so, choose the maneuver tool, choose static measurements, choose and click on the recording option. Go back to the static measurement window and click on the inspiratory hold. This is between 3 to 5 seconds, and it will reflect end inspiratory pleural pressures. Next, perform an expiratory hold maneuver. And this time, it will reflect an end expiratory pleural pressure. After the maneuvers have been performed, measurements will automatically populate for reference. However, to confirm the data, open the stack of records. The recording will show the maneuvers that were performed. For this one, the inspiratory hold. A plateau is reflected. On that inspiratory hold, airway pressure is reflected at 28 centimeters of water, and esophageal pressure of 16 centimeters of water are shown. In measuring end inspiration pleural pressure, esophageal pressure is subtracted from airway pressure. For this example, 28 minus 16, which is 12 centimeters of water, that is reflected on the ventilator monitor. To note, pleural pressure should be less than 10 or 12 centimeters of water in patients with ARDS-like lungs. In the next maneuver, which is expiratory hold, the values of 6.5 centimeters of water and airway pressure and esophageal pressure of 8.6 centimeters of water are reflected. In measuring end expiratory pleural pressure, esophageal pressure is subtracted from airway pressure, which shows 6.5 minus 8.4 and results to a negative 1.9 centimeters of water. It is important to note that end expiratory pleural pressure should be as close as to 0 centimeters of water. Quick check. True or false? Measurement of pleural pressures should be done during dynamic ventilation. False. Static measurements are more reliable when measuring pleural pressures. PEEP titration. For this example, the patient is on volume control with 21%, PEEP of 7, rate of 20, and 280 mL of tidal volume. The reflected end expiratory pleural pressure is negative 4.2 centimeters of water. It is important to remember that the goal of end expiratory pleural pressure should be 0. Anything beyond that or negative about it, it tends to be that the lungs are collapsed. This typically happens with obese patients where there's a large amount of weight is pushing their thoracic cavity. Therefore, attaining a negative value of end expiratory pleural pressure. The example at the previous slide, the PEEP that was set at 7, it had an end expiratory pleural pressure of a negative value. To alleviate the negative value of the end expiratory, additional PEEP was provided, which made it an end expiratory pleural pressure of 0.1 centimeters of water, which is very close to the goal of 0 centimeters of water. With this action, lung recruitment is possible and better oxygenation will be achieved. The ventilator images used for this educational module are from the lectures of Dr. Rees. Thank you, and now you are ready to take the post-test.